House Security Chair Mike Turner made a cryptic message about a national security issue he thought was pertinent enough to have it declassified. Question is this a national security threat? And is this something the administration, like many things, they're sleeping on? As of January 3rd, 2024, there are approximately 8,377 satellites orbiting the Earth. If you look at the stats over the next 9 years, it's predicted we'll have 57,000 satellites in orbit. So is this a threat to our national security? Well, we have to understand a little bit about satellites to understand if it's a potential threat. So let's break down the four categories, the major categories of satellites. The first one is communication, which include radio, TV, telephone, and internet communications. A lot of the communications that you do, especially overseas, utilizes satellite technology to bounce from region to region. So catastrophically, if that went down, a lot of our means of communication that are now dependent on satellite communications would be disrupted. Are you on Starlink? I certainly am, because I think it's a great service. And as of right now, there's like 5,500 satellites in this bracket that have been launched by SpaceX to support Starlink. Now, this is not included in the major statistic of overall satellites. The next category is Earth observation. Now, Earth observation includes weather satellites, which are employed to monitor and forecast weather. It provides trends and actual weather data, which is good, because if we don't have that capability, then we can't predict things like major storms affecting our country. So certainly a national security risk and something that we do every single day in preparing our nation for major weather events. On top of that, remote sensing satellites. Now, this category is a little wonky because it includes the applications of both environmental monitoring and geographical mapping. It's a critical part of how we look at the Earth and monitor what's going on. The next category, I think, is the most important category because we are solely dependent on this in our infrastructure and all of the things that we utilize, from vehicles to airplanes, depend on it. That's navigation satellites. This system also includes the Global Navigation Satellite System. This system broadcasts signals that GNSS receivers pick up and utilize for geolocation purposes, providing global coverage. Galileo in Europe, GPS in the United States, and all of this combined provides a finer picture to where you understand where you're at on the ground. Everything from my Garmin 7X Pro to the airplane that you're flying in. Now, why is that a concern in national security? Well, imagine not having that complete picture and infrastructure. How would the airplane touch down on the runway automatically? It wouldn't. It wouldn't have the capability. All these systems depend on an infrastructure that communicate and geolocate and tag you so you know where you're going. And that's not just you personally, but also the machines that you're utilizing. And can you imagine in a world right now where you had no access to GPS? The GNSS system was completely shut down because of a catastrophic event in space. Imagine not having your cell phone to be able to navigate. Could you do it? Do you have roadmaps? Do you have all the basic necessities? Do you understand how it works? Do you have a compass and map? Last category is astronomical satellites, which include astronomy satellites, biosatellites, and the ability to do climate research. Now, the biggest fear here is not just from the explosion, the kinetic strike, it's also the electromagnetic pulse. And it doesn't necessarily have to be an atomic explosion. It could be an electromagnetic pulse from a laser beam to be able to shoot down other satellites that your adversaries have. Now, this is a scary picture to paint because at the same time we're talking about being infiltrated by Russia in space, we're being infiltrated by China on the ground.
The fact that PRC hackers are targeting our critical infrastructure, our water treatment plants, our electrical grid, our oil and natural gas pipelines, our transportation systems, and the risk that poses to every American requires our attention now.
Now, this isn't something that people are prospecting. This is something that's happening in real time. We are currently being cyber hacked by China. I did this post on my social media at mike.a.glover, where a Hong Kong citizen, not even able to vote here because they're not a U.S. citizen, was just voted into San Francisco's election commission. That's right, election commission. So if you're the CCP and you're utilizing citizens who now could be in charge of American election commission processes, can you imagine the ease of infiltration? Right now, we're tracking tens of thousands of illegals coming in of Chinese descent. Now, that fits into a perfect recipe. The CCP is not attacking military infrastructure. They're attacking civilian infrastructure. You heard it. Water, electricity, all of the things that are super fragile right now. So there's some major issues here, obviously, but we're focused on guilt tripping half the country because we're not willing to pass a bill to fund wars overseas. Our infrastructure, both in space and on the ground, is behind every major superpower in the world. You better believe it. Guys, I'm taking the 3-day challenge in the backcountry. I'm going to survive out of my Land Cruiser with no power, no support, living out of my fanny pack for the Philcraft Survival Channel. I'm really interested in doing it because there's a lot of considerations. When you look at people who have perished in these major winter storms, there's 70 plus people who died in the last winter storm that hit our country. There are a couple dozen people who died a couple years ago in Buffalo, New York. This is something that happens every winter, and there are a lot of people who perish because of it. I wanted to see if I could survive for 3 days and what the considerations would be. Like, how would I survive? How would I be able to start a fire? How would I be able to keep myself warm in single digit temperatures here in Utah? So it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. A couple other things. Cliff Bar tourniquet, which would do me good if I had a bleed. Obviously, my first aid kit, a Bic lighter, and my Montana knife. Now, this is the mini Speed Goat. This is the only one that fits in here. But it's perfect because I can already imagine I'm likely going to be cutting up some stuff. I'm not going to be cold. And if there's any type of insulation in those seats, it's going to get it. You guys could use the coupon code MF10 to save 10% on your first purchase. A light, that's going to be handy, especially when there's no light in the backcountry. Chapstick, obviously my Sig Macro X, which, unless I find a bunny rabbit that's running around, won't do me any good. I want to end this podcast by thanking our sponsor, USCCA, and rolling straight into it. Hey guys, when it comes to survival, the line between being prepared and being caught off guard can be razor thin. Now, you all know that we are strong Second Amendment supporters on this channel, but freedom always comes with responsibility. And we are all responsible for being as trained as possible with our handguns in case we need them in dangerous situations. That's why we partner with the U.S. Concealed Carry Association. They provide expert training and education designed to make you a better shooter, a better protector, and a better survivor. You also get self-defense liability insurance included with every level of membership, so you know you're prepared if you ever need to use your gun in self-defense. Right now, they have a special offer for our Philcraft community where you could start a membership 100% risk-free and get a free gift as well. Head to uscca.com/Philcraft to get more information and start your membership today. That's uscca.com/Philcraft. Thanks, guys. We very much appreciate USCCA. Guys, I'm off to Florida in a couple weeks, and for the first time, I'm able to work out. I mean, I'll be filming all day with the Surviving Man series. That's MANN series. I'll put some stuff out there so you guys could follow along. But for the first time since my stem cell and my surgery to replace 4 discs in my back, I'm able to start a routine, which I'm thankful for because I'm going crazy. Like, not being able to work out has been driving me bananas. So I get to finally start working out. I'm using the Mountain Tough program. It's an app. I'm friends with Mountain Tough. They're a great company that's making people healthier, most certainly for that backcountry hunt, but also just starting out. And so I want to get ready for my backcountry hunt. I also want to start from the beginning. And they have a program from basically the couch to standing up, starting real light and getting back into it. I'll be starting that program because I have to start from nearly the beginning and get back in shape. You guys can follow me along on that program wherever my social media is found. I appreciate you guys. Till next time, have a good week, guys.